Can you believe that it feels like winter outside? Spring cold front. Mhm.
There's no electronics.
Thank you. Let's see, let me just try to get straight on who is here. Lots of people unidentified. Several phone numbers. Do you know who might be here for SSH Incorporated? Here comes everyone. Who? Good morning. If you'll stay muted, if you'll stay muted until everybody's logged in and then it's your turn, we're going to take everybody in turn, and everyone will have an opportunity on your case to speak when it's your turn. So don't be concerned about that. But I welcome everyone to the Temple Municipal Court. I am Judge Person, and I'm thinking people can hear me because I had some responses already. Hang on just a moment. Uh-oh. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, got it. Okay, so I do want to welcome everybody to the court, and I'm going to repeat myself just a bit because I know that people are logging in and there's just differing rates of people's audio connecting. So again, I'm Judge Person. This is the Temple Municipal Court, and welcome. We have two dockets that we're working on today. The pretrial docket will meet. Those are contested cases. I'll explain more about what that means in a moment. And we have just a regular docket where I'm working with people on their sentences or on their case, as the case may be. There's a lot of different, there are varying needs depending on what's happening with your case. So one thing I want to make clear, though, is I'll be asking you at the end of our discussion, normally there's a signature required when you're in court. We need to collect that signature today. Sometimes people just come on by. If you're wondering then why do it online, you're not sitting in a hot, sweaty line, or in this case, a wet one. You're coming by. It doesn't take more than a few moments to do that. Also, there is the option of sending things to you electronically, but we have to get the signature back today. So you'll need to be able to print it and sign it and get it back to us. If you have a system that captures your actual signature, we can take that. If it's the computer assigning a signature that's just generic looking and not your legal signature, in a legal sense, we can't accept that. So that turns around and gets rejected. So just know that I'll be asking about that, like when can you come by or can we do this electronically? And I'll work with you to try to accommodate your situation to the best of my ability. I have some announcements that I'm going to make, but I had a lot of unidentified folks. And I just wanted, maybe it would be good to let me ask for, if I don't call your name, don't panic, because it means I see that you're here. Oh, and I just saw another person that's in good that I identified, so that works. Benjamin Cowart, are you here? Because I don't see you. Okay. And Sabrina Elias Zambrana, are you here? Because I don't see that person. Adrian Fonseca, are you here? Thank you. You're under that name. That was one of the names I wasn't sure about. So I'm going to change the name on the screen, but don't worry, it won't change it permanently. It's just for this meeting. And that way I won't lose track of your place in line. It helps me, it helps you, make sure that I don't lose track of you. So thank you. It also makes sure that I pull the right file. Then the Stacy Price, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's one of the things I wasn't able to identify. So great. Let me change the name on the screen. I saw you, but I didn't know who it was. So thank you. I will, when it's your turn, you're on a telephone. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's fine. The only thing I've noticed with the phone situation is that sometimes people, on the phone, they start doing something else and they miss their name called. I'll call your name here in a little bit and I'll be sending you an unmute request again at that time. And, just make sure you're kind of listening in. Don't lose track of the meeting. Thank you. And Leandra, the next person I'm still looking for is Leandra Ruiz. Are you here?
I'm here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the names I couldn't figure out. Let me get you renamed to. Sometimes I have no one that I can identify, and sometimes there's lots of people. So we'll just keep working away. Then I also have Samuel Brown III. Are you here? Samuel Brown III. I don't see Jamion or Hamion Gossett. Are you here? On the Gossett case, anyone speaking up right now? Okay. Bryson Roberts, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. Okay, great. Thank you. That was a case I wasn't sure. Thank you. Let's see. Is anyone here for SSHB Incorporated? SSHB Incorporated, are you here? Jared Thompson, are you here? Then I actually wind up then with two people I can't identify at all. Zoom user, I'm sending you an unmute. Can you tell me who you are?
Jacorian Melton.
What's the last name?
Melton, Melton.
Okay, I already had you on another device. Are you on two devices?
No, ma'am, only this one.
Okay, that's fine, no problem. And then I had a telephone number that didn't get identified. It's a 254 area code and with a phone number ending in 804. Can you identify yourself, please? I've sent an unmute request. I'll just keep working. Yes. No. And, you know, I actually have Ashante LaShawn Gills. If you can't hear me, then I'm not communicating with you at all. And this is pointless, but if you can hear me, I'm going to tell you that your audio is not connected and you might want to work on it. I have you logged in. If you need to log out and log back in, I'll let you back in the meeting and you won't lose your place unless it's just repetitive. Yeah, I can tell that you can't hear me on JT. Right. If your audio isn't working, I'm not able to help you. You'll have to log out and try again. Right, on the Gills case. On the Gills case, you just unmuted. I can hear you and your audio is connected, so that's great. Thank you. Mr. on JT's iPhone, yeah, it's gonna come back. Okay, so I think we're kind of good. You know, it seems a little rough at times. But we'll get going. So I'm Judge Person. I want to talk to you just briefly about a Class C court and how things move through a court. So if you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are methods for accusing a person. That's what those are. And when you give a plea, you're giving an answer or a response to that accusation. And of course, we're presumed not guilty. So what I'll tell you is that there are three options for answering, and that's called a plea: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. If you plead guilty, you're saying, I did this. If you're pleading not guilty, you're contesting it. But ultimately, what that means is that you're asking the state to prove the case against you. Yes, you are maintaining that innocence that the law presumes, but you're also demanding a trial, and the burden shifts to the state to prove their case at trial. And that means that there's a process for getting that case to trial that may be different from other cases. There are kind of two different paths to take, if you will. So if you plead not guilty today as a pretrial, if it's resolved today, we stop there with the resolution of the case in whatever that agreement is with the prosecutor. If it is not resolved, that is not a problem. It just means that we're moving that into the courtroom. We're doing contested cases here in the courtroom and not online. I require that people try to check in on the Zoom because it saves you time, it saves the court time, and I'm required to try to save time. So I have a mandate by law to do that. So yes, there's a schedule to everything. So if it's not resolved, we come on in the courtroom, and then that next meeting is not the trial because we haven't scheduled trial. We need to find out once you're made aware of all the rights that you have, and we do that pretty quickly at that meeting. It's not a long meeting, planned for about an hour, give or take. It can be less, it can be more. It's usually right about at 15 to 20, 30 minutes, depending on who else is here and what their case requires, as always. But we do try to be efficient about that. But you'll come in and we'll, work on the scheduling of trial. We'll work on the bond. We'll work on the things that need to happen to get a case to trial. We have all those shows and it looks like it just happens, like everything happens in 1 hour, but that's because it's not real. When really you get into it, it looks a little different. And so, we'll just, the deal is I have to respect the rights that you have and make sure those rights are afforded to you. And that is not just something that is simple. It's not terribly complex, but it does require that we take methodical steps towards where we're going. Okay. So on the not guilty, you're just heading toward trial through that pretrial process. Okay. The next thing, and then sometimes things get resolved along the way. Sometimes they don't. And we just get there when we get there. Okay. The second option of pleading was guilty. And the third is no contest. If you plead guilty, you're admitting the offense. If you plead no contest, you're not admitting it, but you're not denying or contesting it either. You're just saying, not going to say one way or the other, judge, but I want to move forward with sentencing. So if you plead guilty or no contest, let's talk about the path that takes. So normally, and laws like this, there's a rule and then there are a bunch of exceptions. Normally, the general rule is you're found guilty, it goes on your record, you pay the fines and costs. Payment. I've got to look at your financial situation. I look for that for setting a bond in the not guilty context. I look at that information for sentencing because in Class C courts, we are fines and costs only. I don't sentence jail time. You can get a warrant and wind up getting arrested and getting time credit on that. But we're trying to not do that because that's actually terribly inconvenient. Our right against search and seizure, by the way, includes that we sign for our ticket and we agree to come to court so that we're not taken to jail. So it's really helpful to keep up with things. If you find that you get into a sentence like you agree today, I sentence you today, and you're paying $50 a month, and then you lose your job, no one wants you to lose your job. I hope no one loses their job. But if you lose your job, I have ways to work with you if I know. But nobody told me that you lost your job if you didn't tell me that you lost your job. I won't have a clue. So I'll start enforcement activity heading toward that warrant when really what I need to do is work with you. If you come into a clerk and talk to them and tell them, they'll have you put it all in writing, and we'll either adjust it or you'll meet with me and we'll adjust it. We'll figure out what to do. If there's something we can do, I want to try to do that instead. Okay. So yes, sentences are sentences and you're supposed to do them, but circumstances are circumstances and they change. So there is a way to look at that. And again, I hope that doesn't happen to anyone, but there's a layer of folks for whom that happens. And I don't want you to get scared. It's human nature to just simply put our heads in the sand. And sorry, I just have this person telling me repeatedly that they can't hear me, but and that I need to fix it, but I can't fix your system. If you can't hear, of course, it doesn't help, but you can text me and I text back. There are ways to work with that too. Okay, so really back to that payment of fines and costs, I try to make adjustments and I try to do them up front. So if you give me information that doesn't really tell me what's going on with your financial life, I make a bad decision and it affects you. And you're under oath. So let's not play a game with that because it doesn't help you. On the bond side, if you're pleading not guilty, I look at that same exact information to schedule a bond, or if the case is resolved, then you have less paperwork. It's really the same information that gets used in different ways. And I have people really resist that and say, I shouldn't have to fill that out. But the truth is, I have the right to ask. If you don't want to fill it out, then you just post a cash bond, which means posting your fines and costs up front. And then it's solved, So there's really paperwork and I work with you or post it and we don't have to worry about that. Okay. So that's just the policy of the court for 20 years and I'm sticking with that one. So that's kind of how that works. And just know that I'm trying to make a good decision that makes sense within punishing, which is slightly different. So I'm balancing some things there. Okay. I do what the law tells me to do with that balance. So then I want to back into having it go, because remember I said, I accept your plea, it goes on your record and you pay. We've addressed you pay. Let's talk about it going on your record for a minute, because I like everybody to know their own options. And 99% of us will represent ourselves in a court like this one. And that's just for a lot of reasons. So in terms of the record, in a Class C court, there are 4 ways to get something get it off your record, okay? Compliance dismissals, I'm going to go into these a little bit more in a moment. Compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, and then the deferred dispositions and teen court. I have people asking me, why didn't you call my name? It's because I already see you're here. If you didn't hear your name, I'm not worried about where are you. I know you're here. Okay, so don't stress. Okay, so those 4 things. Compliance dismissals, the law just says in some cases, you can bring it up to date and dismiss it. There's requirements. There's like 5 things for each one. If I take 15 things and tell you all 5 things for each one, we will be here for hours and hours and you will not hear it because no one wants to listen to that kind of detail that long. the law says that I dismiss it if you meet the requirements. So I'll start quizzing you to see if I can get you there. You can ask, hey, judge, is this compliance eligible? But know that I'm looking, okay? Incidentally, if you didn't have a driver's license and you're driving, it's illegal, and the law doesn't say, then you can get a license later and it's okay. You know, there's not a compliance on that one. And the same is true for insurance. If you didn't have insurance and you hit somebody, you can't go get insurance to cover it. So the law doesn't let you get it after the ticket and apply it, okay? There's a very gray area in there, like depending. So I am still asking some questions about that. But as a general rule, the law doesn't recognize that. But, you know, things like a tire that was bad and you didn't realize it, or your blinkers out, your light bulb's out. Sometimes people don't know, and it's reasonable that we wouldn't know. So again, I'm looking for those. Moving violations can be dismissed off your record with a class if you're eligible, a class and a driving record history. If you're eligible, I'll start talking to you about it to see if you're eligible, if it looks like you might be. If you want to do it, you'll save money. You'll keep it off your record. You actually get both. That's incentivized for a reason. And the reason is that we drive better after we do the course. And it just makes sense from a metric standpoint, how we look at death and dismemberment on our roadways. And incidentally, Texas is the #1 place to get hurt, injured, dismembered, killed. It's just a truth that in Texas, we're the worst state. If you're 25 and under, you're in the super group, okay? And so I'm a little pushy about that because, well, if it were me, I'd want it off my record and I'd want to save money. And I'm thinking a lot of people are like me. If that's not you, feel free to say, I'm not going to do that, or I don't have time to do that. And you know, no thanks. But just know that I'm assuming that people are kind of like me with that. Here's how that works. And this is a good time to talk the money of tickets. Okay. So fines and costs. If you called a clerk and said, how much is this ticket? And they said like $259, part of that is a cost and part of that is a fine. The cost is set by the Texas legislature, and I do not have control over that. Please believe me. I'm the judiciary. I'm not the legislature, and they tell us what it is. So that one gets collected, and it gets collected first, and it's mandatory, and I can't change it. The fine is set by the judge. That would be me. In the driving safety course option, the cost gets collected, the fine goes on hold, you turn in your course and your record, and you get the case dismissed, and the fine gets waived. You don't pay it. Okay, so you save money, you get it off your record, like I said. I'll be looking to see if you're qualified. You're welcome to ask because it's your case, but know that I'm looking, and ask me if you think I missed something or you are curious about it, how it might apply to you. Okay. So then the third, because I make these kinds of agreements, you know, that's an agreement where I tell you, here's what I do. So on the third one, I said there were 4. The third one is called a deferred disposition. Deferred is a word that we use that means delay. Disposition is a word that we use that means to finish or make final, to dispose of. So I delay making your case final. I put an order in place on a piece of paper. I sign it, you sign it. Sometimes the prosecutor signs it. And we go for the listed things on that order that you do to gain a dismissal. You'll know what you need to do. You'll know the outcome. If you knew it, do it. You know that if you don't do it, the outcome might be that you're found guilty. So we'll arrange how to pay or what is happening with the fine and cost. There might be a class, a record, something to turn in on time. There might be, you know, some other thing like that, like a course, or sometimes there's an essay. There are different things depending on what's driving that case that got it filed to begin with. We want to address it. No tickets during the deferral. Keep your license or whatever you have going on in check where you're not having ongoing problems. Show up for court. Don't get warrants. So those are all don'ts. Don't move without telling us. Keep your address current. If you do the things listed, though, and most of them are passive, refrain from speeding, for example. If you do the things listed, you get a dismissal, and you know what you have to do. It's there in writing for you. And that's one of those things where we collect a signature, just like we would on if you want a payment plan. Okay, so that's the third one. And then the fourth one, it's good, it's handy where the other 2 don't work. The fourth one is teen court. And that's if you're a high school student, a middle school student, a GED student, a homeschool student. If you're heading to the equivalent of a diploma, I want to work with you to address whatever got your case filed. I want some assurances that you've learned what you could from getting your case filed. It will save you money and get you a dismissal if you do the teen court program. But there will be things to do. And if you have a parent involved in your life or a grandparent or a guardian, they might be required to show up too, but they will be required to pay less money than you would otherwise. Okay. So they might need to help you because you're a student. That's the whole point. Young people make decisions based on a different set of thought processes than maybe the rest of us. Okay. Oh, sorry. I sent a message to E. Michael that was intended for someone else because I didn't realize. I apologize. I'm deleting that because it's not really related to you. It just had to do with someone's having technology issues. Okay, let's get moving now. It's going to go more quickly because, if we all get on the same page, then if I had to explain everything I just explained like 19 times because there are 19 people, you would not like me at all. If you like me at all, you certainly wouldn't by then. Okay, Alexis Griffin, can you unmute and tell me, just be verbal so that I can hear you. That way I know your audio is working.
Yes, ma'am, it's working.
Thank you very much. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to move you into the pretrial room. And after that meeting, you will come back into this room and we'll just have a check-in. Before. Mr. Matson, I'm sending you over. I forgot to introduce you and we'll just do that when you come back. You need to introduce yourself to the Griffin person. Griffin. Thank you. Sorry about that. Starting to move a little fast. Okay, so now then moving forward, Stacy Price, can you unmute the phone and talk to me?
Yes.
How are you?
Ma'am, I'm unmuted. I'm good, ma'am.
Great.
How are you?
You can't see, but there's like a bunch of people, and I'm working through the case with you. I do have your file pulled up. You were requesting a payment plan. Yes, this is. Let me just review, and then I want to hear from you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So this is a change lanes when unsafe, and it is from February 28th, 2023. The fines and costs, if you pay them at the window, are $234. And I did receive your information, and I, in my estimation as a judge, what we would do with this case is order community service.
Okay.
And if we do that, it's 12 hours of community service. And the way that I work this is that I have a list of places where you can do the work. I have a timesheet for you to keep track of your hours and get the place where you're working to, validate those hours or sign off on them, kind of like a work timesheet. I have a list of rules. Now, a lot of my providers are in the Temple area, and I know you're out in Eagle River. I do have a way that you can have your provider out there approved. It has to meet the rules that are listed on my rules list. You have to do that within the first 2 weeks of the order so that we know what's coming, because we have to confirm that you're going to be able to validate the hours so that you don't work somewhere and waste your time, and then I can't validate the hours in the way the law requires. And then I have caused you to waste your time. So I have a way that I do that if people can't get over here and do it here. I don't require that you drive to Temple to do your hours. I just require that you take an additional step to pre-validate the provider before we get going so that you know that you're not going to waste your time. Are you with me so far?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Right. I can.
Judge, sorry to interrupt. I think that Zoom is having some trouble moving me over to the breakout room.
Okay, let me try again. Let me see if I can try again. Yes, I can. And somebody named Ruiz got moved over there. I think I moved the wrong person. I'm moving a little too quickly. Ms. Price,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my question for you is, are you able to come by the court today? Or if I email it to you, there's one page to sign, which is a waiver form. And with that form, if you print it and sign it, send it back, that's all that I need from you today. I can do that through the email, or you could come by.
Yes, ma'am, I can come by. And will you give me a list of places that I can do my community service at that time?
Yes, ma'am, there's a packet and we'll hand it to you. And, you know,
Okay.
you can sit in the lobby and review it and make sure you don't have questions. And if you do, a clerk can answer. If a clerk can't answer your question, the clerk will make sure that I get an answer to you.
Yes, ma'am. As soon as you tell me I'm free to go, then I can come in right now.
Okay, it's raining, drive carefully. 12 hours due. Yes, ma'am. 12 hours due May 9th.
By May 9th?
Yes, that's 30 days from today. If you need more time, you turn in what you have and ask for an extension on or before your due date so that you don't get delinquent and get a warrant, okay?
No, ma'am, that's what I'm trying to prevent is a warrant.
Yes, ma'am, of course. We all would especially not want to do that. I don't
Oh,
incidentally think people get warrants on purpose. They don't. They just get scared usually. There are a few people who don't care. Ma'am, you're free to go, but what time should we expect you today? Around in 30 minutes or so?
yes, ma'am. I'm thinking, excuse me, no later than 10:15.
Okay, don't rush. It really is about to downpour if it's not already. Be careful.
Yes, ma'am, I have an umbrella as well.
Okay, thank
So
you.
I'm free to go?
Yes, we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so moving forward, if I could have, and by the way, Leandra Ruiz, I apologize. I sent you to the wrong room and I didn't mean to do that. I got a little turned around with Mr. Mattson's name.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good, but I just wanted to acknowledge.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Tiona Blaine, I'm sorry, no, not yet. Denisha Cyphers, can you unmute and talk to me?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you today?
Doing pretty good.
Good. I'm getting your file pulled up. Making small talk. Okay. It's a balance that is sitting here, and I think that you lost your position. We had a payment plan and it was going pretty
I
well.
was on the payment plan, but I had stopped working.
Right. I got your note. I can change it to community service for the last part.
Like, how much community service am I looking at?
4 hours. Because
4 hours?
4 hours due May 9th.
I can do that.
Okay. I just need a signature. Can you come by, or should we can email it, but you've got to be able to print it and sign it and email it back.
I could come by.
Okay. What time should we look for you?
Before 12, is that okay?
Yes, that's fine. Okay, we'll see you then. We'll have everything at the front desk for you. And
Okay.
it ought to go pretty smoothly. There'll be a list of providers, a timesheet to track your hours, and a list of rules. Please read the list of rules first. Make sure you stay within those rules. Your easiest way to do that is to just use the list. But if you leave the list, there's a process that involves validating the provider prior to and having it accepted by me prior to working there. Because if you work in a place that doesn't allow me to validate it the way the law requires, then you've wasted your time. I mean, you've done something good. I'm not discounting that, but there are parameters of what the law provides. So just make sure you do everything really carefully beforehand, and we'll just have it all for you when you get here today. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any
All
more?
I can do is just go ahead, just leave out of here.
I'm sorry.
Just go ahead and leave out of this conversation.
Right. What I was just saying was, if you don't have any further questions, I'll let you go.
No, ma'am. I don't have no further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving forward, Tiona Blaine, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm fine.
So I do have warrants, and I just need to kind of move into this one step at a time. So what I have, you had a payment plan that got off track and it went to warrant. And then we have not a new case, but a newer case. It's a year old though. April 1st of 2022, the fines and costs are $499.20. It's a speeding charge. The reason the balance is high is just, ignoring it, not finishing it, not showing up and getting a plea on file. So I get what you're telling me in your note, in and out of the hospital with pregnancy. I understand. You did also say I don't live in Temple. I just want to let you know that I don't, right now I have you, I guess you weren't living in Temple at that time, but you live in
Yes,
Temple.
ma'am.
You live in Temple now, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so on your situation, again, I would order community service. And there are the two cases. The other one has a balance of $227.50. And so your total balance is owed. But first, I just want to, I'm sorry, I need to take one more step. On that older speeding charge from 2022, I received a plea of guilty. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will accept your plea. And then what I will say is in calculating your hours. And by the way, are you feeling better? Are you doing better physically?
Yes, ma'am, a little.
Okay, and I guess, let's see. Are you pregnant now or were you pregnant?
I'm still pregnant.
Okay. So, so when are you due?
June 2nd.
Okay. I want to kind of accommodate things. So I can order community service and that turns into 36 hours. Right now, I would give a due date, which would, I'm going to go ahead and give a very liberal due date of July 6th. Normally, I don't give them for that long because I like to check in and make sure that things are happening. But I suspect that because you've been in and out of the hospital and you're pregnant and you have a due date coming right up, you might not be able to really work on this. But what I would encourage you to do is call and figure out where you want to do the work and figure out what you need to do the work. And, maybe think about it. If you're capable of doing it now and you want to get it off your plate, I would understand that too. Just make sure that you clear it with your doctor if you're having issues. If your doctor says you can't do it at all, if there's a physical issue that's beyond delivery date, I need for that doctor to put that in writing and for you to bring me that note. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right now, though, I'm going to recall your warrants so that you're not concerned about those. And I will have you sign for your community service. So I do need to collect a signature today. What time can you be here, or can we email it, have you print it, sign it, and email it back?
Emailing is better for me.
Okay. And you can print it and sign it and email it back today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, we'll send that to you. It's a waiver form that just says that you understand there's no coverage if you're injured doing community service. And that's why I direct you to your physician if you need, because I'm no doctor. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's your relationship with your doctor. And y'all can tell me what y'all discussed as a conclusion rather than me getting into the physical business of your life, because I don't need to go there. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Okay. As long as that makes sense. Do you have any
Yes.
further questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. Then I will let you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson, I'm still trying to get Griffin back over, and I'm just going to pull that file. I've sent it like 3 times, so it's just moving kind of slowly today. The rain tends to affect the internet speed, and I just have no idea why that is. I will say with Alexis Griffin, There is, I just want to front load this question in case it's a question. There's some jail time, and it does look, the most recent jail stay was April of 2021. And the cases, some of them are after that date. Actually, they all are after that date. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, it goes back, to 2019, but nothing recent, current, So it didn't line up for credit. I'm not able to give jail credit retroactively as far as like, if the ticket happens and you went to jail before the ticket happened, then I can't really do that. But if you went to jail, if you get a ticket and at some point you've gone to jail, you always want to let me know, folks, so that I can give some jail credit, credit where credit is due, basically. I'm still not getting.
Let me pop back over there and let her know.
Okay. We might have to log out and log back in. Sorry, I'm just making some notes. That person has a number of cases. All set for today. Okay, there we go. Great. All right. Alexis Griffin, thank you. Can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
So I was telling Mr. Matson. For some reason I'm getting interference when I'm talking. I don't know if that interference is something that everyone else is hearing. It kind of stops as long as I don't breathe. So basically, you're on community service order for two of the 4 cases. And I looked at your jail credit and it's old, which congratulations. That's actually a good thing. But I wasn't able.
Community service for 2 tickets that aren't part of the 4.
Yes, I know. And so,
Okay.
yeah, I'm just giving a recap because we have 6 cases and I'm
Yeah.
making sure I'm not misunderstanding, but I'm also making sure we're all on the same page. So there are 6 cases. We'll get into which ones, when, where, and what in a moment. But the 4 of them, I did look to see if the jail credit you had would apply, because that's, I always want to do that if it's eligible. Your jail credit is old, which is good. That's good. But I'm not able to use it on the newer things. So that's one reason why you're in community service on the other 2.
Yeah.
So now Mr. Matson's going to speak for a moment, and you're going to speak in a moment too. Mr. Matson, let me hear from you first, where we are from your perspective.
Judge, I actually anticipate that all 4 of these cases are going to be resolved prior to the final pretrial date.
Okay.
So we can go ahead and just set that date for now. But
okay.
I am almost positive that Ms. Griffin will be removed from that docket.
Okay. So here's I think that's great. Ms. Griffin, is that your understanding as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's fine. We're setting that for May 31st at 1:00. Y'all may get things resolved. No one excuses you from court but the judge. So check and make sure that, if I think if the case is still on that day, then it means I don't have something that I need to remove it. And sometimes people think, well, but I thought it was removed, and, I don't think it's removed. And, with all due respect, my opinion is the one that matters in that discussion. So it means probably I'm missing something that you thought you sent or whatever. So check in, make sure it's off if you think it's off. The other is the community service is due on the other 2, just slightly prior, which is May 4th. If we miss that deadline, I'm still going to want you in so we can talk about it and not head to warrant. So just, recognize, I'm just trying to recognize there are 2 deadlines happening. May 31st is like the end of the line, and May 4th is the due date for those other 2 cases.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, it's a lot of things. Okay, thank you. We'll see you then if we do. And if not, we'll see the conclusion on the papers. Okay?
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
You're good to go. Mr. Mattson, I'm going to move you forward with Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell, can you unmute? And that way we know that everybody can hear everybody.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Great. Perfect. Okay. So no, go ahead and stay unmuted. It's great. And I'm going to move you over to that meeting with Mr. Mattson.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Let's see. Let me just help myself keep track. While I'm doing that, if I could have Caitlin Williams unmute and get on screen if you're able. It does help communication.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I have a failed to control speed charge from October 22nd of 2022, and the fines and costs are $284. I did receive let's see, this is a teen court case, or at least I have it as a teen court case. Yes, SA was due in February, and driver safety, not SA. Driver safety was due and an SA due February 21st. We didn't get the driving safety course, so we set you for a show cause. And then what I got was you're asking for more time, but there's been almost 6 weeks since the due date, and teen court has a limited time frame. Have you finished the course?
I've begun a new course that should be approved, and I just have a few more hours on it.
Can you get it in quickly? How quickly can you get it in?
I can likely get it in by tomorrow.
Okay. I'm going to, just on my own motion, I'm going to reset your show cause. And the show cause, what we set for today was a thing that said, tell me why I shouldn't find you guilty because you appear to have violated your court order. So I'm going to reset that hearing for 2 weeks from today, which is April 20th, and we'll cancel it if I receive your course certificate completion here at the court. So if you email it to us, call and make sure we received it if you don't get a reply to your email. And, get that done quickly so that I have time to review it and take you off that list, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you feeling okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions?
No, would you be able to email me for the signature?
Actually, I don't need your signature on that particular type of setting.
All right.
All right. I'm just making a note that we'll accept it late. But not after that reset date. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. You're good to go. Great. Okay, moving forward. Brandon Cano, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I did receive, this is a driving while license invalid charge, and the fines and costs are $281. It's the only case I had with you. I did receive a letter from you and a plea of guilty. First of all, is that your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here's a question I have before we kind of move forward with that plea. Have you gotten your license back in order, and what do you know what's going on?
I am very kind of confused about it. So I paid the fine and everything to go get my license, went to try to do it online, and got the fees and everything caught up. Paid for I think it was called my abstract forms and everything I needed to send in.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get a hold of Denton County to see what exactly it's for, and I think their numbers have changed or something.
Okay. All right.
So pretty much, yeah. There's one more thing I need to get from Denton County, and then I just have to, I guess, mail in all the forms I have and get a notary.
Okay. So a couple of things. I just want to ask familiarity. We're going to jump off into outer space, folks, but this is when people have an ongoing relationship with DPS about their license. And so that may affect some of you, so it could be helpful. So a couple of things. So what I'm hearing is you had a delinquent ticket, went into the failure to appear perhaps system. You got caught up with them. You think you got it dealt with. Now it appears that maybe it didn't get fully dealt with. You're not sure what's going on with it. You can't reach anybody. And that's Denton, as it so happens. And so you're working on it. Do I have that right so far?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I actually didn't even like have any clue about it. I just got pulled over one day, and
Yeah.
it was like, "Oh, yeah, before me." I was like, "Okay."
Well, I mean, I don't know what happened with all of that because it's not I know what I do. Okay. And I
Yes,
actually
ma'am.
know the county magistrate up there pretty well. And I know the city judge dude up there pretty well. But Robin Ramsey is there. But what I would say is that you might want to, have you gotten onto the failure to appear website and looked at, did they release your license? Have you looked there?
I've checked the Texas, I guess it's the DPS website, and it just keeps telling me I'm not eligible. But it says I need a SR, I think it's 8. Yeah, SR22. It needs that.
Okay. You know what that is?
I think so. Is that like the form, right?
Yeah,
Pardon?
it's high risk insurance. SR22
Okay.
is a high risk insurance. So if you have like more than one insurance conviction, they make you
No,
carry
yeah.
us. Yeah,
Right.
sorry, we got to take turns or we cancel each other out.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's just the technology and how we are all learning how to rethink how we communicate. But so with the SR22 thing, what happens is you need to file, you need to go get high risk insurance and put it on file with DPS, not Denton. You're going to need to really explore the DPS website. As far as Denton, if they have a hold, when you go to the failure to appear website and you pull your license up, your eligibility there, it will sometimes tell you the requirements that you need to fulfill, but it will list any court that has a hold on your license. And if you print, you will not see their contact information until you hit, yes, I want to print this. And once you do that, it'll tell you their address and their phone number. That might be one way to look at who you need to talk to if you need to talk to them. If you entered a conviction over there on an insurance case, it triggered a need for SR22 insurance. That means you need to talk to your insurance provider and get that insurance. And then you've got to get that form. You've got to get that SR22 filed with DPS, not. And you can do that online. Way to do it now. As far as there, you're like hitting my limit on what I know how to do with all that.
Well, I
know
actually added the SR22 on it and printed the form. I just haven't, I guess, like notarized it. Like, I don't know. It's a pretty thick stack of papers, and I have to, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you do all that.
Yeah, I already added the SR22 and everything.
You have to get it to them. So here's how, this is why I'm digging all into this with you, because if you're pretty close to getting this resolved, and you kind of are, however, you need to understand, first of all, that DPS, when they say in a moment or in a day or in 5 days, you need to multiply that by like, I don't know, a number that's kind of big. So when they say like 10 business days, they mean 3 weeks because they're not counting the weekends, and it's just a different thing. They've got stacks. Those folks, they would work 24/7 and never catch up. So just be aware there's a big delay. Just because you did what you did doesn't mean that it cleared yet. So, as far as eligibility, you don't want to drive till you're eligible. If you're going to get eligible really soon, and it sounds like possibly you are, I can extend you for 60 days as long as you don't get more tickets. And if you bring a valid license and you're on time for court, we might have an option for dismissal. I need to double check that statement before. The prosecutor.
Your audio is cutting in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I moved. I just, talking head. So if you can get valid within like 60 days, I think that we might have a dismissal option for you. I need to double check that statement. And so I'm going to check that. So hang on a second. Okay, accident. So there was no accident. Does he have any priors with the court? Can you print that for me? Okay, let me look. So here's our motion. It says, this is an agreement. So we have, remember everybody when I talked at the beginning about compliance dismissals? This is not a compliance dismissal in state law, but I have agreements with the prosecutor for things that I know that prosecutor would dismiss. And I screen those as well as he screens those because I don't want people to have a different result if they had, gone a different process. Like if you didn't know that you needed to talk to the prosecutor, so then you got a different result. To me, that's the wrong result for the court overall. So if there are things that I know that he will always do, he puts that in writing for me and I screen him. And even though you didn't challenge it by pleading not guilty, you still get the benefit of had you done so. So hang on, I'm going to see if you're eligible. And Mr. Matson, I'm moving Maxwell back over. So, Mr. Cano, there was no accident, there wasn't a no insurance case. It's the first invalid license charge that, okay, thank you, that you've had with the court in the last 2 years or more. You're on time. You got to stay on time. You weren't in a commercial vehicle. You're not a CDL holder. And and you don't have any unresolved cases. So I have a window to reset you. And I did look at the ticket that the officer issued, and it says that your license is indefinitely suspended, which tells me, I know just from experience, that it means they're just missing something, which is like that SR-22 form. So double check the FTA, the failure to appear, make sure you don't have another court out there somewhere. But it sounds like it's just getting that SR-22 on file with them and having them credit it such that they unsuspend you. So I can extend you for 60 days to June 27th. And as long as you remain ticket free, don't drive, don't take the risk, get things solved, get me a license that's valid, submit proof that it's valid again, which, that's eligible, dated, past, that it's current. You can get that to me before your due date of June 27th or log in and talk to me about it. And there might be some wiggle room to give you a little more time, but I can give you an extension instead of trying to hammer you with a new conviction, because a new conviction during a suspension will trigger a long suspension that you can't get out of without getting a different kind of license, which is expensive. So I just need a signature. Can I email you the extension form and have you print it and sign it and email it back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll email that extension. And then that way, if you get valid, drop it off or send it over, and I'll try to pre-dismiss it, but check in on your next due date and log in and we can make sure that it's all good for dismissal.
All right. Sounds
All
good.
right. You're good to go,
Okay.
Mr. Cano. Do you have any further questions?
No, ma'am. So I don't need to go up there today?
No, not if we can get your
All right.
signature through the email. And,
Sure.
you shouldn't drive, so that's a
Well,
win.
no, yeah, I called my sister. She's supposed to be over. Okay.
Sounds good. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye. Mr. Matson, on the Maxwell case, where are we from your perspective?
Your Honor, Mr. Maxwell has accepted terms of deferral,
Okay,
and that will be a 120-day period with a 6-hour course due by day 60. And then payment will be broken up into 3 installments of $78 made at the end of the first month, the end of the second month, and the end of the third month.
okay. Do we count the first month as at the end of April or at the end of May?
The end of April, I guess, if the deferral starts today, whatever a month from the starting period is.
Okay, so like 30 days from today, is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so we could do a payment and Mr. Maxwell, if you'll listen, and I'm gonna see if this works for you, and if not, we'll make adjustments. May 9th. And then
Well, I can pay it before that. I can pay my first $78 before May 9th. I just need to get
Sure.
the number and stuff.
okay, why don't you tell me when that a good day to do that is in May? I'm sorry, in April.
Hey, maybe like April 10th, something like that. I'm trying to get it knocked out as soon as I can. I was expecting to not have to, since I was doing the course, I didn't understand why I had to pay the fine if I was already taking the course. Could you explain why I have to pay fines if I'm taking the driver safety course?
So there are two different processes. I think I can answer your question. I might need more information, but in the driving safety course option, if you elect to do that when you first come in with your ticket, we sign you up to do that. And you're given like all the timetables and you sign up to do that. You're not signed up to do that. You pled not guilty and you were signed up to head to trial. It sounds like there's a resolution through that third option that I talked about at the beginning, which is a deferral. And in a deferral, there's payment, there are conditions, and there's an end date. So the deferral in this case included, at least Mr. Mattson thought so, an agreement that you do the payment situation, a driving safety course due, which is not unusual in a deferred setting, that he or I, one or both of us, I sometimes he brings me one and says, I don't want a course. And I say, I'm sorry, I'm going to require a course, or I'm not going to approve that deferred. So he's requesting and thinks that you're agreeing to do the driving safety course, but this is in a different context than the regular driving safety course option that people elect when they walk in, plead guilty on their first court date. Because that law says when you walk in and you plead guilty, you could be eligible, and the clerk tells you, that you're eligible. But this was going to trial, so it took a different route.
Okay.
So it's a condition of the deferral.
So he mentioned probation.
The deferral is like a probation period, but the difference between a deferral and probation is that there aren't probation fees. It's just the same cost of the ticket. I don't raise those fees. Some judges do, I don't, because a lot of people just don't realize deferral is an option when they.
So what if I say forget the course and just pay my fee? It won't be off my record then.
Correct. And one added thing, just to add, completion to the discussion, because you're 25 and under, you're required by law in a deferral to take a driving safety course. It's not waivable in a deferred context. The state of Texas passed a law that says on anyone with a traffic citation, if they do a deferred, the judge must require a driving safety.
So that's the only option as of now. I think he told me, but just to confirm,
that's true.
That's the only option I can do.
Yes.
Okay. Unless I want to take it to trial.
Correct. That's the only option to know you're going to have it off your record for sure.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and go with the course and payments.
The deferral.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just back to the discussion.
So one more question, ma'am. What if he mentioned if I violated basically, or if I got in any trouble, what would happen if I got another ticket?
Okay, if you get another ticket, I send you a letter saying, hey, it looks to me like you violated your order. I need to talk to you.
Would that have to be in Temple, or what if I got one in like Austin or something? It would only have to be in Temple.
Well, I think our agreement is going to say that you don't get any more tickets in the state of Texas.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'm just confirming.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I mean, the idea is safety. So I don't really think
Yeah, I
safety for
would.
safety is
I know we
isolated.
can't explain this right now. I was going 3 miles per hour. I don't know how I wasn't being safe, but that's another story. I just go ahead and go with the payment. I mean deferral.
Okay, so let's kind of get back to making sure that I've got the details right on your deferral, because I want to accommodate and payment stuff. I know you said you could make the first payment on Monday, the 10th of April, but I want to be sure because you said I might be able to. And
Well, I have the money to pay the whole thing.
Okay.
I was just thinking that I was going today. Well, I've never been to any court thing, so I was thinking today that we explain it, and hopefully I thought I just have to take the course and didn't have to pay, but the money's not a problem. I know I can pay for it in full, but if y'all giving me a option of paying payments, why not? So I might as well just I can really pay it today, the first $78.
Okay, so if I do a payment on the 10th of April,
Is that a deadline? Do I have to pay it that day? Is like that a deadline?
So let me just tell you how this is going to work. Your order, I'm trying to write an order right now. I'm trying to tell a clerk what to put in that order. Okay. And I've got a lot of latitude, but I can't say like this person might do this sometime. It has to be definite. So if you're paying $78 today, we start today with a payment. If you're saying to me, no, not today, we talked about the 10th. I'm just trying to get some dates from you. Can you pay $78 today?
Yeah, just to let you know that I can pay it and I'm not going to bull crap y'all. I will pay.
That. I know that, but my order is going to be specific. And
okay, well, I'll pay the first $78 today. Okay.
And then why don't you look at a calendar and tell me when you are paying the second one? I will just work with you.
Is there when is the end of the whole, when does the whole thing have to be paid is my question.
I like to try to collect it within the first 60 days.
Okay. So maybe.
How about 30 days from today?
I can maybe do it sooner than that. So
you can always do it sooner, but not later.
Okay.
So I'll put 30 days and then I'll put 60 days from that day. So yes, today is payment 1, 30 days from today is payment 2. And let's do an actual calendar 30 days on payment 3, which is June. So it'll be today, then May 9th, then June 6th. And your driving safety course is not due until June 27th. These are no later than dates, okay?
Wait, June 27th is when my course is due?
Right. This is all going to be on the order that we send to you. So you don't have to write it down right now. It'll be there.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So am I emailing this to you because you're in Waco, or are you coming?
That's right.
Are you coming down? Your email will work?
Email will work.
The email that we use to set up this meeting, will that email be the right one?
Could you confirm it for me?
Yeah, hang on. It's what did you use?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I used.
You don't know which email you logged into and clicked on the link. That's what I'm asking.
Maybe my school email. I'm not sure right now.
Okay, I'm looking. It's just going to take me a minute. I don't like to give everybody's thing out over the internet, but this one ends at wacoisd.org.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the main thing is I'm trying to be sensitive. It's kind of like if I gave your phone number out to everybody. No, not going to do it. I don't give people's addresses out on the internet, and I don't give people's email out either. It's just too personal. We'll email it to that email here in shortly this morning. Okay. And you'll sign it, print it, sign it, scan it back over, or take a photo back over. We'll receive it. and your copy will be the one that you received. Okay. Okay, very good. You just want to call and make sure that we received it. Okay.
And then to make my first payment, do I just call y'all's office or something? How do I make the payment?
Right. There's two ways to do it. You can call or you can go onto the municipal court's website and pay online, but wait until you receive the order. It's a great, really good question. Wait till you receive the order, because then you know we've set it up the correct way in the system and it won't trigger a conviction. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you can call and they can give you directions, or they can take a payment by phone, or you can go on the city's website to the municipal courts tab and click on pay ticket.
Okay, and after this, you're gonna send the stuff to. So my question: do I have to pay for the? I know he told me I had to, but why do I have to pay for the course if I'm already paying for the fee? Is that because it's the
I
separate?
can't pay for your course for you, one. That's not me. It's an outside provider. And in a deferral, you pay the cost of the ticket plus you have a course due.
All right.
Anything else that you want to know?
I think that'll be all.
Okay, all good questions. Probably other people had them, they just didn't ask. So it's not a problem to ask. If you have any further questions, I want to address them now.
Of course.
Nothing else?
Nothing else.
Okay, very good. Then you're free to go, but you're looking for that order to come in. Once you receive it, you know it's okay to pay. And your dates for your other things will be there. We'll also include information for how to go online and find a class.
Yes, ma'am.
When you submit your class, you can email it over. Just if you don't get an email back, call and check on it, okay?
Wait, submit my class. What is that?
Yeah, I need to know that you took a class, and there's no other way for me to know except for you to send in a certificate of completion.
Okay.
How
And
else would I
so
know?
do I send that to you or
Send it to
who?
the court, like from the email.
Like the
that you
regular
get.
one I sent? Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah. Okay, thank you. Mr. Mattson, moving you forward, your next person is Eab Michael. Eab Michael, can you unmute? Oh, I'm sorry, you hit the button when I hit the button. Sorry about that. There you go.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Great. All right, great. I'm going to send you over to that meeting with the prosecutor, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, and my next person that I am looking for is Riley Light.
Morning, ma'am.
Morning, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. Give me a second to get your case pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is a theft charge, and if you paid it, the fines and costs are $296. It's dated from February 21st of 2023. You're on time for court, and we do have one of those prosecutor things that I've been talking about with that driving guy earlier. On theft charges, if you have a first-time theft with this court, I do allow you to reset your case for 30 days, take an online theft intervention class, and turn that certificate of completion into the court on time by your next due date and have the case dismissed.
Okay. And how would that work? So you would email me the course, or?
So that's a good question. I would email you an extension that I need you to print and sign and get back to us.
Okay.
And then I would email you a list of places that I know you can do the course. And you pick one, you get it done. It's 8 hours. You don't sit the whole 8 hours, you log in and out, but you get it done. You pay for it and you get it done. Once it's done, you'll get a certificate of completion, which you then email to us. You can do it next week. You don't have to wait for your deadline. But on or by that deadline, if I've received the course from you, I dismiss your charge and you don't pay the ticket and it stays off your record.
Okay.
Okay. You're in Hillsborough, so we'll email to you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are you doing in the States when you're studying your?
I moved over here to play baseball.
Okay.
Originally from Australia, and to also study. But because of what's happened, I have been cut from the team, which is fair enough. So I'm taking in the mistake, and I'm doing whatever I can to fix it.
Okay, you might let them know that we have a diversion program and the case will be dismissed without a conviction.
Okay.
I don't know if that will help.
Okay.
That's their rules, so I can't control it. But the reason I asked about your studies, in the United States, if you have a conviction like this on your record, you can't ever do anything medically related here. They won't license you. I happen to live in a medical community, and I think a one-off mistake, if someone can learn from it, is better. The person who truly learned from a mistake, is a better citizen and more compassionate. So I think it's a better option. And this will save you the $296, but it also will keep you from having a conviction on your record.
Mm-hmm. And so if I were to just pay the fine, then that would stay on my record. But then if I do this course, I don't pay the fine and it doesn't go on my record. Okay. Well, I'll go with that one.
So
please.
people always wonder, is that true? Because that doesn't sound real, but actually, there's a huge benefit on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a justice reason for making it, lessening the impact on people's record, because people learning from a mistake is better. Okay, so the email we use to set up the meeting will work for sending this to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, we'll send it. And if you print it, sign it, email it back, get your course done. If you got your course done this weekend and emailed it Monday, I'd probably sign a dismissal next week. But I need it no later than May 9th.
Of course.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any further questions?
No, ma'am.
Good luck with everything, Mr. Light.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So moving forward, if I could talk next to Colby Vargas. Let's see. There you are. Hey, good morning. How are you doing? Good morning. Hey, you might need to get a little closer to your microphone. You're cutting in and out.
Stop.
Can't hear you yet, but I'm still hopeful that it's all going to catch up somehow. Hi. Okay, you're frozen, completely frozen on the screen. So I think there you go. There you go. Colby, if you can hear me, I'm going to try to call you on the telephone. Colby, can you hear me? Okay, Colby, the best thing to do right now is to hang up and dial back in. The connection's just not good.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
I know you're saying you can hear me, but I can't hear you. So you're you're not gonna lose your place in line. It's too jumpy, hon.
Can you call me back?
Call back, please. Mr. Matson, I know that you and Mr. Michael were working. If we could go ahead and discuss where we are.
Yes, Your Honor. So this is going to be a multi-step process.
Yes.
First, the fine amount on each citation will be reduced to 60.
Each case?
Yes, Your Honor. The speeding
Okay.
and the fail to yield will both have a fine of $60. And then the court costs on each of those citations is $134.
Okay.
And then Mr. Mike will be placed on a deferral on both citations.
Okay.
And the terms of that deferral are going to be the standard 120-day period with a course, 6 hours of a course by day 60. And Mr. Michael indicated to me that he could make payment in full of the $388 once those reductions have been entered within 30 days.
Okay. We're doing one course though.
That is correct.
Can I put it on the speeding?
Yes, Your Honor, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Let me recap and make sure I've got it. Okay. All right. So we're reducing both cases to a fine of $60 on each case plus court costs. That total then becomes a total of $388, half and half. The deferral on both cases is 120 days, which ends August 8th. A payment of the fines and costs total by May 9th. And then a course on the speeding charge case only due June 27th.
That all sounds right to me, Your Honor.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Michael, if I email that to you, that then tells you everything's good to go. Once I receive your signature back, you're done. Can I use the email that is on file that we used to set up today's meeting?
Is that a Hotmail email or is it which email do you have?
Let me look. Give me a moment. That takes a minute. Yeah, Michael. Hang on just a moment.
Okay.
Colby Vargas, I'll be right with you. It looks like it's going to work better somehow.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Hang on. Yeah, we'll be right there. Okay, let's see. Mr. Michael, it's a Hotmail address.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll use that one.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, that should come to you later this morning.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You're good to go.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could get Bryson Roberts to unmute. There we go. Can you get on screen, Bryson Roberts? Thank you. Okay, I will move you over to the meeting with Mr. Matson. And Colby Vargas, let's talk about. Great. Let's talk about your case.
All right.
You dial in and it's not working. So you got it solved by relogging back in. It just helps. So what I wanted to ask you first is, are you enrolled in school?
No, currently right now I'm not.
Oh, okay. What's happened?
So I went to court recently for truancy, and they pulled me out and told me I'm supposed to get a GED, and then I have to go to a military school in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Texas Challenge Academy.
Okay, let me talk to you. It sounds like there's a parent there, which is good because I was just about to ask. Who's there with you today?
My father.
Okay, what's his name? Hi, Dad.
Hi, I'm Randy Vargas.
Hi, Mr. Vargas. Tell me what's going on before we talk about the case. Tell me what's going on in life. Sounds like a lot's happening.
Yes, Kobe has went down the wrong path.
Uh-huh.
You know, he vapes, and that's what got him mostly in trouble. Was he was skipping school, doing the vaping. I've tried to take him to the doctor. We tried to address that. If he was addicted to vaping, we tried to get him the patches. We've tried to get him these lozenges. But, you know, Kobe, unfortunately has continued to vape. And so they permanently removed him out of school.
Because he was skipping to do this.
Yes, he was skipping. Yes, and then the truancy had built up. The days had built up to where he was almost going to be a third-time freshman, which, you know, I've heard of second-time freshmen, but I ain't heard of a third-timer. So I believe that that's where they cut him off and said, hey, you know, it sounds like you choose to not come to school and get an education, as you know other kids are going, and you know the school doesn't have time. If Kobe's not wanting to get that, you know, they've given him, you know, several opportunities, and you know, we've tried to, you know, have Kobe a good support structure in every kind of way, you know, but I guess, you know, sometimes as teens they make bad choices, and you know, this is the, you know, the consequence to his actions, you know. So the judge recommended GED or the Texas Challenge Academy. So we're going to do the Texas Challenge Academy. He's supposed to, he's got his place in line for the academy. He's supposed to complete his paperwork and be leaving in July. He should be completed with the course in December. So that's what's happening, you know, to try to remedy that, you know, I'm just trying to get him on the right course of life, you know, and I don't, you know, don't want to see a young man throw his life away, you know, over vaping, you know, just, you know, I believe it's something he can get over. And I don't believe, you know, that I think maybe it's just a fad right now. A heavy fad seems to be with the teenagers nowadays, this vaping thing, you know, and I'm hoping that, you know, he'll just learn from it, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think that it's the end of the road for you, Colby. I think there's an opportunity to grow and learn how to have a good life.
Yes.
Which vaping is not going to give you, by the way. I have a parent who died from the effects of nicotine. So I mean, I know that it seems like not a big deal for young people because the real negatives are later in your life. They're not right now. And so it's a real hidden kind of gotcha. The bigger thing with vaping and with cigarettes as well, the nicotine issue, is that to pay for that addiction, and it is highly addictive, to pay for that addiction is a lifestyle change. Like you could have a car in your life or you could vape, because you're not going to have both, because ultimately over time, you don't realize it. That's a nickel and diming effect. So it nickel and dimes you into a different lifestyle. So that's another thing that you might want to think about, Colby. But we can do teen court in terms of, you know, how we address it. I don't think I want to take you to the final teen court trial because it's not a good match because you're not currently enrolled in school. But if you show me that you are actually, are you enrolled in this Texas Challenge Academy?
He has his place in line. Yes, we're just submitting the required documents.
Okay.
But he does have a recruiter.
How does that connect to the GED program?
They get them their GED.
Great. Okay.
They don't have one. They get everything, their GED and everything for them.
Okay. So one thing that we do is, I'm sorry, I'm leaning over to tell the clerk, I think we want to go ahead and we have teen court meeting next week. And Colby, what would happen is that where were you in school? Were you at Temple or were you somewhere else?
Oh, yeah, I was at Temple High School.
Okay, so you can be on the campus for the singular purpose of coming to the teen court program. You would come to our set, you're going to come in today and we'll get you a map and everything. There's a single fee of $20 and you would be sentenced by a group of young people who listen to your case. You'd have an advocate, a young person advocating for you to have a lighter sentence. You've taken some steps to get your life back under control, which might be helpful for that. And a prosecutor who would be, seeking a higher sentence, but the sentence will be community service credits. And then you would meet with a case manager. That case manager would walk you through and y'all would come to an agreement about how to get those community service credits due. Most of them are low cost or no cost solutions and things to try to work out, your life. It lowers the fine. You just pay a $20 fee. There might be a course you take, but it's still going to be less expensive than the citation itself. You just would have to be there for the session and have a parent with you, because I believe that parent involvement is like the lottery. You won the lottery if you have a parent caring enough about you to be involved. And then you would dismiss your ticket and I would waive the $181. Are y'all interested?
Sure.
Okay.
Colby?
Yeah, Colby, are you interested?
Yes.
Okay. Because the other solution is you pay the $181, not dad. And I kind of throw the book at you you still would have a course due. So, but I can put you into teen court. I do need proof of enrollment in that program. And there is a $20 cash fee for the program. Are y'all able to pay that cash fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you bring something printed out showing he's enrolled in the Texas Challenge Academy?
Other than like maybe I don't have a confirming email yet, but I can ask the recruiter if there's something that like showing he's secured his place in line.
Yeah, that's it. Just something showing he's queued up to do it.
Okay.
And if that can't be brought in today, it could be brought in by the end of next week. But I'm going to put today, sorry, not next week, by Monday.
Okay, we'll be in this afternoon.
Okay, what time?
Right after lunch, like 1 o'clock.
Great. Okay. All right, y'all are good to go. We'll see you around then. There'll be a case manager. So just come in and say, we're here to talk to the teen court manager.
Okay, they're downtown where we went to.
That's exactly right. Yes, sir. And you're coming with him, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. We'll see y'all then. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye. Mr. Mattson, on the Roberts case, where are we?
Your Honor, at this time, I would recommend teen court for Mr. Roberts.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to tell you, before I talk with Mr. Roberts, that's all I have for you today. So you get to leave.
Just to be sure, Your Honor, I want to confirm that JT's iPhone is not Jared Thompson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Jared Thompson, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Let me move you over to that meeting. And I'll do that in just a moment. You're going to meet with the prosecutor. Mr. Mattson, on Mr. Roberts, did you have any recommendations? We don't have any more live teen court, but we do teen court throughout the year, even where we don't have a live session happening. I can just have him meet with a case manager with mom, or we can, take any recommendations from you.
Your Honor, I think that meeting with a case manager is appropriate. Mr. Roberts has indicated, both himself and I did speak with someone from Wheatley, Mr. Pleasant. And
Yes.
it sounds like Mr. Roberts has been actively taking steps to
Right.
improve his situation. So I
Okay.
think that just meeting with the case manager and figuring out a good, productive way to move forward with his mom is probably the best route.
Okay, that's good news. So Mom, Mr. Roberts, what time do y'all want to come in?
I can come now.
Okay, it might be a few minutes because I'm using those case managers in the courtroom.
Okay.
Could we say 11:30?
Yes.
I mean, 11:15 would work too. That gives me, I need to wrap up court.
Okay, that's fine. I was just trying to get him to school.
Right. It won't be a long meeting. It'll probably take about 15 minutes. Let's say 10 after 11.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, you gotta go.
And I will say, just incidentally, if Carl Pleasant says positive things are happening, I believe him. He knows his stuff. So
He does.
he's a great member of our community for sure. Glad y'all are working with him. Bryson, I'm glad to hear that news. Okay. All right. We'll have a case manager available pretty quickly once y'all get here. Okay. They're gonna
Okay.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Matson, I'm going to move you over with Jared Thompson. Jared Thompson, I'll move you over to that meeting. Good catch, Mr. Matson. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Okay. Let me catch up for a moment, but if someone wants to know who's next, that's going to be Ja'Cory and Melton. So you might want to get to your screen and unmute. Give me one moment though. I'll be right back with you. I just need to talk to a clerk. On this one, I didn't get a lot of info, but can we kind of take a new page and review just a little on Mr. Vargas? Just because it's just uniquely different. The whole thing that's happening. I didn't, he's leaving soon, so they're probably not working or anything like that. It's going to be hard for them to get ready if they don't have work. Information. That would be great when they come in. On Roberts, though, we'll just do whatever they have to do. It's probably in your class or something. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, it'll probably be anger stuff, but whatever Mom thinks. But on that one on Roberts, the reason I didn't address the $20 fee, I think that just I do know her visually, they may have a hardship there, and I can waive it if that's needed. Okay. Okay. Let me move forward with the Melton case, please. Are you there? Can you unmute? Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you? How are you? Ja'Cory, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. I already answered. We're good. I'm trying to make sure that I can hear you, and that you can hear me. So I did receive your information. There's a speeding charge and it's fines and costs are $259. This is all a stop for February 21st. And I received a no contest plea. Is that your plea to the charge itself at this time?
Yes, ma'am. No conscience is like not guilty, not innocent, right? I mean, not guilty,
Not contesting, not admitting.
Yeah.
That's your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then there's no insurance charge from that stop. Fines and costs are $281. How are you pleading at this time?
No contest.
Okay. And then a no license charge. Costs and fines are $181. How are you pleading at this time?
No contest.
Okay. Then you asked for a monthly payment plan, but I'm actually showing the better option would be community service. And that would be 36 hours total for all three cases wrapped up together with a due date of May 27th. What do you say?
May 27th.
about doing community service to satisfy your fines and costs?
Yes, ma'am, that's fine.
Okay.
Do,
I
do
just,
y'all have like, I'm sorry. Do y'all have any like 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s?
sorry,
Do y'all have any 2-for-1, 3-for-1s?
I'm not sure what you're asking. What I would tell you though, is that I have a list of places, a form to track your hours, and a list of rules.
Yes, ma'am.
I need you to come by the court to sign the document, off, saying that you're going to do the community service. When can you be here today?
I can come in the next 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. All right, we'll see you by around 11.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a blessed one.
You too. Here you go. Write it down. Just as a general rule. Because I like to. That way y'all don't put it on hold. Okay, so I'm back on and running, and let me see about Ashante Gills. Can you unmute? Ashante Gills, can you unmute? It's been right up on the screen. All in the minute.
I am present on behalf of the person.
Okay, who are you?
I am who I am.
Okay, well, I'll disconnect since it's not effectively communicating. We'll need to come in, or whoever that is involved. Otherwise, there's just no way to do it. I have to confirm identity. Hope you
I'm
stay.
the beneficial owner of the.
I need to make sense. I'll be right with y'all. She wants back in, whoever she is. I'll deal with it in a minute, but I'm going to move on to people who are working with the court. Gianna Cobb, can you unmute, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
How are you this morning?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay. I did receive everything from you. There was a stop sign charge, and the fines and costs are $234, and there was a no contest plea that was sent in. Is that your plea at this time? I did read about the tragedy that happened after all of this took place, and it's very sad, and I'm sad that that happened for you.
Thank you, Judge.
Is that your plea today, no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask you, have you ever taken a driver's safety course to get a ticket off your record?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
When was that?
Some years ago.
Okay, so if you haven't been in the last 12 months, our state law allows that you can take a course and you pay the court costs, but not the fine. I can give you time to set up the court costs if you need time and couldn't pay them today. The court costs because they're not cheap. So the court costs on this particular one, as set by our legislature, it's $144. And I just need that $144 license and insurance at a date that we specify today. And I need your signature on that. And then you could come in with that 144 license and insurance set up. And on that day, you have a 90-day window after that day to turn in the course and the driving record. And we give you all the information for how to get all that done. Are you interested in that program to keep this off your record and save about $100?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Can you pay the 144 today, or do we need to figure it out?
If you can give me about a week, on the 13th.
Of course, that's no problem at all. So I just need a signature. Can I email a signature page to you? And you print it, sign it, and email it back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's going to give you 2 weeks, but you can come in any time between that day and the 20th to get to do all that at the window. But I'll email the extension to you, and if you'll print it and sign it and email it back today, then you'll have a 2-week window to just get by and do it here at the court on your schedule. Will that
Yes,
work?
ma'am.
Okay.
Do you need the file in a PDF file?
No, it's as
Okay.
long as I can pull it up. I mean, PDF's great because we take it, but generally, if people just send it in like a picture, if they scan it and send it, if we're able to open it, we're good to go.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Ms. Cobb, we'll email that to you here shortly, okay?
Thank you so much, Judge.
Yes, ma'am. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Mattson, I'm still trying to get Thompson over. That was a difficult. She was speeding and had her father in the car. He was pulled over and he did. It's great.
Sorry, Judge, you cut out a little bit there. I didn't hear all that.
I think I trailed down, and I sometimes do that when I'm doing something kind of emotional. The lady before, she was speeding, and she had her father in the car, and he was having a heart attack. She was pulled over, and he eventually did die.
Oh no.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is a speeding in the school zone allegation from February 7th, and the fines and costs are $259. Where are we on this matter?
Your Honor, Mr. Thompson has requested discovery for the final pretrial hearing. An offer has been extended, but he wants some time to think about it, which I told him is fine.
It is.
So we're going to go ahead and set for final and see what happens on that date.
Okay, so Mr. Thompson, we're scheduling that for May 31st at 1 o'clock. You'll have a little bit of a priority if you get here a little bit early, because we'll want to take some time for you to look at all of your discovery. And so
Yes, ma'am.
we'll do it all at the same time, the pretrial and the discovery, so that you're not making 2 trips. So you'll be able to look at it, and we'll just go from there. We'll see where we are at that point. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll see you then. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I didn't get what date it was, ma'am.
Yes, May 31st at 1 o'clock.
May 31st at 1 o'clock.
Right, and it should be on the paper that we sent you setting this meeting up. There's a
Okay.
2-part schedule. It's there in writing, but I like to remind people because sometimes they missed it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you. You have a blessed day.
And you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Mr. Metzen, I can let you go if you're ready to go.
I am, Your Honor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Okay, I'm moving along with the next person. Let me see who that is. We did Cobb. And Denise Cyphers, can you unmute? Sorry, that was already solved. Excuse me. I forgot to cross it off. Okay, Adrian Fonseca, can you unmute and get on screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So, are you?
I can't hear. I can't hear.
Yeah, I can tell.
I can't hear you, ma'am.
Okay, you're gonna have to disconnect. Log back on the Ruiz case, I'll just wait for that person to log back in. Leandra Ruiz, can you log back in?
Yes, ma'am.
Get on screen, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Your Honor?
I'm good. It's been an interesting morning.
And yes, ma'am.
This is just it's a show cause because it seems off track, but I think that we could get easily back on track because right now what I'm showing is the best option would be to turn this into community service.
Okay. Is that gonna affect well, I was talking to the lady and I sent a payment in, but she said I sent it to the wrong courthouse. I sent it, yeah, and so I had it refunded back to me. So I'm supposed to make that payment back again to y'all. It was supposed to be for $80.
Right.
And for some reason, they didn't receive the $80 because I sent it to the wrong. I sent it to Bells instead of y'all's county.
Okay, that's okay.
And so,
Not even county, we're Temple.
well, yes, ma'am. And they told me that I don't understand how that wasn't sent to y'all when I literally made that mistake. And that was before this court paper came out for a warrant, I guess, for me not showing up to court.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Well, I'm just wanting to address the things. So, but you're bringing it up. So you got refunded. So that's good. You're not out the money. I don't know what happened. I wasn't part of whatever that was, but I didn't get a warrant on you yet because we always send a letter saying, hey, we think there's a problem. And that way, when this kind of thing happens, we have to stop what we call a stopgap to kind of prevent a problem from becoming another problem when really we could clarify what happened. So I get that, and that you did your level best to do what you were supposed to do. And
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
why I send that letter, is to make sure that we don't take a negative step when you thought what you were doing, what you were supposed to do.
Yes, ma'am. And I wasn't notified, until I got this when I was supposed to show up for court again. So when I went up there to the court office, to the municipal court, they told me that I would have to set up a meeting with you to see if I can get my extended on my payments again, because the job that I quit working, I hurt my back, and I'm on the process of disability.
Right.
And so therefore I couldn't work no more because I fell at work.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons why I didn't go back to work, is because of that.
Because
of
the injury that you've sustained.
Yes, ma'am. I hurt my lower back on my disc on the back. So I'm not able to work right now, but I am in the process of I already filed disability for my back since last year. So I'm waiting on a response from them.
Okay, so I would order community service, and I would give quite a bit of extra time.
Yes,
if that's an issue, then, talk to your doctor about it, and anything. I can't accept like your work comp paperwork because that means I'm interpreting it like an employer, and I'm not your employer.
Yes, ma'am.
A note from your doctor, if the doctor says you can't do anything that's on the list, then I need to make an adjustment there. But right
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
but let me finish, and then, because when you talk, it cancels out, and then you miss some of what I'm telling you. And I just want to make sure that you have all the best information. So what I'll do is make this order to be 28 hours with a due date of June 27th. And then what I'll ask for you to do is just honor that deadline by either getting the hours done or bringing me a doctor's note if you can't get the hours done. If you've gotten some of the hours done, but can't get them all done, then you would bring me what you've got and ask for more time. So there's one way or another, we're moving forward by that due date of June 27th. Can you come by to pick up the information, or are you able to have it emailed, print it, sign it, and email it back?
Can you email it to me since I'm out of town with my daughter?
Yes.
And also on the printing, I don't know if I'm able to print it here or not with my daughter. How would I go about that?
I don't know how to solve the printing issue on your end because I don't know what's available to you.
Can I fax it?
Yeah, as long as you sign it and print it and fax it, that's fine. You can
Okay.
email it back or fax it back. It doesn't matter
Okay.
which way.
Okay, sounds good.
And there's only one page that you're sending back, and it just says, that there's no coverage if you're injured. There's no privacy when you're doing community service.
Okay, and then I also was gonna let you know that I'm supposed to look at this other job next week or hopefully tomorrow. So if I start working, then I can go ahead and start making payments on that.
Okay.
Fine also.
If you get into a situation where you want to shift it back to payments, always bring any hours you've done, come in and talk to the clerk about what you can pay, and we'll work with you on that.
Sounds great. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you. You're good to go.
You have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. And so on the Ruiz case, we're back. It looks like you're back on. Sorry, it's not Ruiz, it's Fonseca. Adrian Fonseca, it sounds like I can hear you now. Can you talk to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There's a curfew violation and put your full face on the screen. The top of your head doesn't really work very well for me. Okay, who's with you parent-wise?
My mom.
Okay, let me talk to mom for a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, what's your name?
Stephanie Cuellar.
Okay. And so, Ms. Cuellar, you're Adrian's mom, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I just want to ask, is he enrolled in school?
Yes, ma'am. He is a student enrolled in Temple High School.
Okay. So we have we have a teen court option, and I did receive Adrian a plea. It's a juvenile curfew violation, and the fines and costs are $271. And I received a plea of guilty, I think. Let me look. Is that your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your plea? I need to ask him, Adrian. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So with teen court, what happens, there's a $20 fee. And then there are things that you need to do, namely a life skills class you would do online, gain a dismissal of discharge if you turn your course in on time. Are you interested in doing that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you just want to pay $271. Are you working?
Yes,
Because mom's not
ma'am.
required to pay it. Mom's not required to pay it, so it's got to be you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where are you working?
I do like, you said what?
You have student and NA across this. So where are you working?
I do like yard work for my grandpa and stuff like that.
Okay. Are you paying them in full today, $271?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're wanting more than 30 days to make payment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so come on in and you'll fill out a payment application. This time disclosing your income. If mom's saying that really she's actually paying it for you, then she needs to disclose her income. And I'll say that you can pay $50 a month. Can you make a payment today?
When is the latest I can make my first payment? Like I only need like a couple days.
Okay, let's say, April 13th.
Yes, ma'am, I could do that.
Okay, you need to come by to and sign off on the payment plan and fill out the payment income information, and I'll approve it. Yes?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
time will you be here?
Within the next hour.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Are you going to speak to the court or not? Actually, I can't even, there's no audio. So if you can hear me, person identified on the screen as Ashante, I don't think it's effective to try to communicate with you through this format. So you'll need to come in and we'll schedule you for a live hearing. Thank you.